TrueChart is really the ideal tool for any organization that's ready for some big change, whether that's a new CEO, major growth, mergers, acquisitions, new products. TrueChart is an actionable document where a traditional org chart is merely a map of who does whose review. The 3 layers of TrueChart are influential relationships, dominant individuals, and customer touchpoints. What's so important about those layers is they really help you understand the culture that exists, because customers can see that, they can feel that in every interaction. Layer number 1 is about influential relationships, the relationships that allow people to change, move, grow in the organization, or prevent that. In the example that we're using here, you see a couple of things. You see that the finance director and the CFO don't necessarily get along. You see that the CFO is going around to kind of a star performer in the finance department. You see a lot of friction between sales and marketing. You know, that is unfortunately incredibly common. A really kind of invisible lurking thing that you see here is reception has a bad attitude. Well, it's so easy to walk past reception and not think about it, but do you realize that that is the first entry point for brand new customers a lot of the time? Dominant individuals are, the famous people in the organization, and they're the ones that have kind of the biggest ripples. They maybe make people feel terrific about their jobs, and that could be somebody that is so technically unimportant on a traditional org chart. But in this, you're going to see that, hey, Mary down in finance is really, really a very positive person, and everybody likes her. And then you see that, Jeremy or whatever in reception, he's just a quiet guy, and he's really unhappy. So he's easy to ignore, but he's really actually a very dominant individual. It's extremely difficult to make positive people out of negative people. When you've got a positive person in your organization, they need to be supported, augmented, kind of made an example of. So customer touchpoints, it's amazing that they're everywhere. They're not at all where you think. One example of a customer touchpoint that gets missed a lot is finance. One example in a company that I worked with, their finance department was interfacing with their customer's procurement department. My client's finance department wanted to use up some old branded envelopes and that type of thing, and it just kind of was all an afterthought, and that's where they dumped all of their stuff. Well, nobody paid any attention to the fact that that was the only customer touch point with the decision makers in their customer organization. When you put all 3 layers together, you really get TrueChart. This particular example is very, very simplified, but it does give you the important insights. There's really not a better marketing tool than TrueChart. And the reason for that is because today's consumer wants authenticity. And TrueChart really does give you that insight into your organization so that you can become authentic. People spend their money with organizations that resonate with them. So I think that this is one of the most important steps that any company can take in building a brand.